Hello, my name's David and I'm one of the leaders in Kingdom Exchange Ministries, a church in Brompton. We're having a meeting among the leaders, and one of the things we felt we should do was to make a short video of why each of us believes in Jesus. Mostly for the young people, but we thought we'd put it on YouTube as well. So here we go. Why I'm a disciple of Jesus. And you'll see there are ages down there, and it starts at age 7. And there it says, seeing through. This is filmed in Cornwall, and it was in this place when I was 7 years old growing up, that one morning at 5 o'clock I got up, drew back my curtains and looked at the hills. I'd seen that sight often, but this time it was like I saw through it, that it wasn't just hills and sky. I was seeing right through. You could say I was seeing heaven. I tried to tell my parents about it, didn't really understand. I can't blame them. But when you've seen it, then you know. For a while I was a teacher of religious studies, and often I found that children had had experiences of God when they were very young, and they didn't realise that it was the Father speaking to them. That for me was the first time. Age 9. It's a wet afternoon. A group of cousins are stuck indoors. An aunt doesn't know what to do with them, so she gives them books and says, sit down and read. And she gave me The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Just been written at that time actually, in the 50s. And I read that book and I thought, this is like that morning when I woke up and saw right through things. Age 16, waiting for a bus. I'm in Penzance, waiting for a bus to go home after school. And this guy starts talking to me about Jesus. And I'd heard about Jesus before, I knew about church, and I was pretty sure that if God was real, and I thought he was, that it didn't have much to do with church. But I listened to this guy because he sounded like he was for real, but I wasn't going to admit that he was right or go with him in what he was saying. But he made a big impression. And it was about 3 or 4 months afterwards that I prayed and asked Jesus to come into my life. And I was sort of surprised when I woke up one morning and thought, hey, I feel different. And, well, that was because I think it was about 12 o'clock in the middle of a geography lesson. I thought, this is what this guy was talking about. I've been born again. Age 16 again, hearing the Father's voice. And I was praying and saying, Father, what do you want me to do? And I heard so clearly this inner voice that said, go to Oxford University. My teachers, I didn't tell them about the voice, but when I said I wanted to go, they said, you haven't got what it takes. No, it's beyond you. But I knew what I'd heard. And so I kept praying, I kept believing. The way it worked out was helping some French people. I was studying A-level French at the time. Helping some French people who needed translation. And they heard from me that I was interested in music, in Celtic music, and they said, come back to Brittany with us sometime. Come and stay. We'll introduce you to dancers and bagpipers and singers, and you'll meet lots of interesting people. So I did that a few months later on. And through that, I was able to get a scholarship, and that scholarship led to being at Oxford University. And the final thing, the first healing miracle. As part of my studies, I had got to do a year abroad as a teacher in a school in France. It was a really great experience. And the church I was in, the pastor said, during the holiday, why don't you go down to Toulouse? They could do with an evangelist there to lead some meetings. And I did, and it was great. And there was this guy, and I remember praying for him at the end of a meeting, and he was deaf. He came forward, I remember putting my hands in his ears, and nothing much seemed to happen. But the next day he came to me and said, you know what? I can hear now. He was a guy who had been in Algeria, suffered a lot, and he was just bowled over at what Jesus had done. And so was I. Now that's part of why I believe in Jesus. My day job these days is still in philosophy. I've been a teacher. Some people describe me as an intellectual. I could give you all sorts of intellectual reasons why I believe in Jesus. But I've told you the main reasons, the personal reasons, the reasons that I've lived for why I'm a disciple of Jesus today and why I intend to be as long as he wants me to be here. And I say to you, the same way that I opened up to him after hearing that guy at the bus stop, you can do that too. And you can have the experience and the adventures of walking in what God has got lined up for you, in the plan he's had for you all along, the plan that he will unfold to you as you come to him through Jesus. God bless you. Thanks for listening to this.